I talk about it with like contestants, and they all say like, for the blinds, most people, not everybody, but a lot of people like blacked out and just like did their thing. And it was all like, you know, muscle memory at that point, because we've been there for a while. They just blacked out and didn't even remember doing it. And I was one of those people. And I think the reason why was because I was waiting. I'm like 40 years old. I would call myself a musician from like 10 years old. So like 30 years I've been a musician. I'm stepping on this stage, and on a national stage, I'm about to be told my 30 years was good enough or not, basically. And like these like 4 people who are like being judged by a jury of my peers and being told like whether or not I'm worthy. Right. And so like for me to be like not told no on a national stage would have been like disastrous.
Welcome to Creating a Life in Music. My name is Mike Salo. I'm a guitarist and music educator from Minneapolis, Minnesota in the US, and I want to know how other musicians make their living, how they got there, how they sustain it, and most importantly, the insights and tips they may have for the rest of us. I interview musicians from all over the world, from various parts of the music industry, to break down the question, how do I do music full time? So join me as we discover the many different ways to create a life in music. If you're a guitar player who's ever wanted to attend music college but couldn't because it's too expensive or too far away, or maybe you're just beyond that point in your life and you're just too busy with your own family and your own career to commit to something like that, I would highly recommend going and checking out fretboardbiology.com. At only $29 a month, Fretboard Biology takes out all the guesswork, putting the right things in the right order. It's highly structured, highly organized, college-level guitar program designed by one of the top guitar educators on the planet, Joe Elliott. Joe was head of the guitar department at McNally Smith for a number of years, where he designed the entire guitar curriculum, as well as being head over at Musicians Institute in Hollywood for many, many years. He knows what you need to know. And you can get 50% off your first month when you go to fretboardbiology.com/register-Salo, my last name, that's SALOW. So fretboardbiology.com/register-Salo.
How's it going?
It's good. How's it going?
Yeah, we actually didn't even greet each other on the way to the door.
I know, it's so weird.
Like, bring your stuff in.
Yeah, right. Let's
get
set up. Yeah, all right.
It happened with a call the other day with someone. It's like on the call, and like whenever there's like issues with like setting up or like technical issues, it's like you're like, oh, it's not working. I gotta figure this out. We gotta put this together, and then you don't even say hi. Yeah,
totally. You're like, oh right, I was supposed to say hi to you. Yeah. I haven't seen you in 15 years.
15. So we got to hear about The Voice. Yeah. As much as you can talk about.
Sure.
But I think, I think this is a good spot, a good place to hear some Adam Bohanan backstory.
Oh yeah. Okay.
By the way, I received an email asking about Adam Bohanan.
Really?
Yes.
Adam
when this set up.
Yeah.
Was that a typo?
Probably.
Okay, because it said interview with Adam Bohanan.
Interesting.
And I was like, I don't know if this is
just like somebody being funny. Yeah.
I don't know if they were being funny.
Yeah, no.
Whoever like I was in contact with to set it up.
Yeah, no.
Bohanan is
no. Well, you know, like that's my like joke name, like for my joke albums. Adam Bohanan.
Okay.
Adam and the Bohanans. No.
Okay.
I'm not serious. Not at all. No.
That'd be a good one. Adam and the Bohanans. We should change the whole band name.
The whole band name? Right. Yeah.
Yeah. For people who don't know, I guess I play in your band.
You do. You play in my band. Yeah.
I do.
And we have a gig coming up.
We do.
December. Yeah.
When? What? We do?
Yes.
I'm kidding.
Oh my God. Oh my God. No, we have a gig December 19th. We're going to play the Green Room.
Yes. In Minneapolis, in Uptown.
In Minneapolis. Yeah. That's fun.
Nice. Random question. You ever have dreams that you aren't prepped for a gig? And
always.
Like it's well, for us, it's a nightmare.
Yeah.
I had one of those last night.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And it was like this weekend, and I didn't prep anything, and I didn't know why I didn't.
Did you have a gig this weekend?
No.
But
I just had that dream last night.
For me, like, so like I I'm a singer mainly, and I'm a guitar player second, right? And so whenever I have to learn like 40 songs for like a weekend, then like all week I'll just like have dreams that I like didn't shed enough, and I'm just like,
it's the worst.
Ain't no mountain I gotta learn the G, whatever. Yeah, and like,
and every single time it's like absolutely nothing is prepped.
Yeah.
And I can never imagine why. I'm always like, how did this happen? How did I not touch any of this music?
Yeah. It's kind of like that high school thing where you're like, you show up naked to school. It's exactly the same thing. You're like, you show up like naked of knowledge to work, you know? You're like,
I know.
Where are my chords? You know?
Exactly. Yeah. What I was getting at before, what I meant to say is I think it's a good place to talk about kind of backstory.
Yeah,
like,
sure.
Your upbringing in music and where everything kind of took off and started. Because you have an interesting backstory as far as where you've lived, I think.
Yeah, I mean, definitely for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the interesting part.
Yeah.
And nothing else interesting. Just that.
Yeah. Besides that, I'm kind of just like a boring guy. But
I wouldn't call you boring.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome. I mean, we've known each other for like 4 years, right?
Like 3 years at least. Yeah, for sure.
And so I know you were in New York for a while, but I know you lived in England. Were you in London?
I was in London. I lived in London. I went to
You've told me this stuff, but
I went to like private school in like East Anglia, which is like a little bit northeast of London.
Okay.
And so, that's where I went to like boarding school. And then I lived in London in like not like in the center, like in the northeast of London. Yeah.
Well, how old?
From like 10 to like 19.
Okay.
To like 19, 20.
So did you start doing music there? Did you start playing in groups or start singing?
Well, yeah.
Singing's a little bit different. I mean, it kind of just, when does it start?
Yeah. So I started writing my own music when I was like 10 years old.
Okay.
And I started singing when I was in Israel because my mom I lived in Israel before I lived in England.
Okay. That's what it was. That's the part I missed.
Yeah. So I used to sing for my mom in Israel because she liked me singing all of the like Israeli songs for her. So I used to sing there was like the Israeli national anthem or like Bashana Haba, which is like all about like the coming year or whatever. And like there's a couple of other songs that she really loved me singing. Yerushalayim Shel Zahav, which is like a really big Israeli song. And then I moved and I was singing a lot of stuff that she liked, right? Mm-hmm. She loved like, the Beatles, Joni Mitchell, James Taylor, all that sort of stuff. And so I was singing everything that she wanted to hear. And then I moved to England and I started studying music in school. We had, music classes in our, like, I don't know what the American educational system is like, but the private school educational system in England is really about the arts, so.
What kind of classes were they like?
I mean, for GCSE level, which is basically like kind of like SAT level, they're more like, they're kind of like just like general classes where you take like, you take composition or like songwriting or like that sort of stuff, and then there was like you'd go into like instrumentation or whatever there, so wasn't really too in depth. It was kind of surface level for GCSEs. Then A levels is the next thing that I did, which is kind of, you can kind of equate that to like my associate's degree here or something.
Okay. How old are you though?
I was like, well, again, this is England.
Okay,
we
right,
finished our educational system early.
Okay, yeah.
Because everybody there is smarter. But
so that's why you came here, so you could act smarter than everyone.
Exactly. I'm not actually that educated, but I can act it because But no,
I see your plan all along.
But no, So in A levels we studied more like music history, music theory. All that composition. We worked a lot with Sibelius, and like this was back when Sibelius was a brand new
I was
thing.
gonna say, I was like, Sibelius,
for real, right?
Like, at that age,
no, it was kind of wild actually. Like Sibelius was a brand new project product that nobody
on like the Mac, what do they call them? What were they?
The Windows. We were like, what do you mean?
Well, I remember the old ones, the old IMAX that were like in different colors that were kind of like transparent. Remember those boxes?
They didn't even have those yet.
Okay, wow.
It was so old that it was just like, like a blocky freaking computer, and we would just like use Sibelius on those computers as well.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So Sibelius has been around for a long time. Yeah. And we were just like doing like I think for my like A-level project, I did like, we were supposed to do like minimalist music. So we just basically like copy and pasted a lot and just did like a circle of fifths and shit like that. You know, so it wasn't anything. Yeah. And it was like, that was the whole thing. And yeah, it got pretty, and when we had performance as well, which was great because as you know, I like to perform more than anything.
You do?
Yeah. It's like, it's funny because like,
weird that you would like tried out for an audition for this show.
The show where all it is performance. Yeah.
It's like you like to do that or something.
Yeah, it's funny because like you know, people try and be different kinds of musicians. Like a lot of people go for like the social media musician, and some people go for the studio musician. Some people go for like I'm really bad at everything, but when it comes to performance, I get up there and I do it. You know what I mean? Can we swear here? I don't know what the vibe is.
I mean, I think so.
I won't. I'll save it for you.
I think you can. I just don't know what it does in like the algorithm.
We can bleep it.
Yeah.
No.
There you go.
You don't have to. I just won't swear. Yeah, I just, you know, like I like to perform. So my performance was like my favorite part of the whole thing. You know, I did a medley of I don't even want to say it, but I did a medley of that Leonard Skinner's Sweet Home Alabama into Southern Man.
Nice.
Because like in Sweet Home Alabama, they talk about how Southern men don't need you around anyhow.
Yeah.
And so like I just like medleyed the two songs together to like kind of like be like
in London.
This was in school in Suffolk in East Anglia. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It's like the most down home American song.
I know. Well, I was American, so right?
Is that on your set list? I don't know if I've ever seen it when I've played
Sweet Home Alabama?
Yeah.
Never.
Okay.
Never. You have to pay me $1,000 to put Sweet Home Alabama on my set list.
It is one of my least favorite ones to see. Whenever I see it, I'm just like, there are songs, and we should talk about that at some point, like least favorite songs.
Yeah.
But there are just those songs where like they're not hard. They're fine. Whatever. That whole part's fine. Yeah. It's just I just don't want to play it.
100%.
I'm just like
absolutely.
And like because I don't want to play it, it actually makes it feel for some reason more difficult because I just don't want to do it at all.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm going to play these parts and I hate this.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I totally agree. It's funny because we, when I play like cover band gigs in New York, we have like rules about specific songs like Wonderwall or anything like that. Like there's like tiers of like how much it'll cost you to hear that song. Like
to the client.
Well, we just do like bar gigs or whatever.
Okay.
But like if you're coming up and you want to hear a song, you're requesting a song and it's like Wonderwall, then it's like, well, Wonderwall, it's going to cost you $50.
Yeah, seriously.
Seriously, Leonard, like any Leonard Skinner is going to cost you like $1,000 a song. I'm not doing Leonard Skinner. Yeah. That's basically.
There's a couple. I mean, Tuesday's Gone. That's a decent song.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
like you look at something like what is it like? The Journey, freaking Don't Stop Believing.
Don't Stop Believing.
Right, like it's going to cost you like $75-$100 to hear that song. I don't hate that one. I don't hate it at all. I like the song, but I've heard it 10 billion times.
So what is the song then? Or like several songs that you see on a list and you're like, I don't want to do that. Yeah, but you kind of make, when we play together, I mean, I
make the list myself most of the time. What is the song that I said I don't want to do? I don't want to say.
You don't want to say.
I don't want to say. It's so funny because like, you know, literally, if you'd asked me this before the show, I would have been like, oh, this one. Now I'm just like, if I say this and like they're watching, I was like,
they're not going to be watching this.
No, they're not going to be watching this, but like,
thanks for reaffirming.
No, but I mean, like, if they're like, yeah, right.
I'm joking.
No, I'm saying, like, if they decide that they, like, if, like, you know, I mean, I don't mind alienating Leonard Skinner, you know, I'm fine with that. But like, if somebody's watching this and it's just like,
I know what you're saying.
You know, like looking for Adam Bohanan content, and they're like, "Oh, look at this.
Singing my song."
Exactly. Like, no. Also, like most of the songs that I don't like singing are not because of the song being bad. They're more because of the song just being like not like either in my style, sometimes not in my range, and I have to sing it in that anyway. Like. I was doing this Your Love by the Outfield.
That's high.
It's high. And like I do it and everybody goes nuts for it. But that's the song that I just gotta do and like not sing for the rest of the night. You know? And
do you sing it in record key? I always forget.
Yeah, I sing it in record key, which is like E.
See, you got right to it. I cracked.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I will say I love Billy Joel. Okay. I do. I think he is a New York staple. Mm-hmm. I will say that if I ever have to do Piano Man, I hate Piano Man. That's what I will say. I don't.
It's just because you've done it too many times.
I've done it too many times, and heard it too many times. And you know what Piano Man is like at a wedding. We're not going to talk about what it's like at a wedding, but you know what it's like at a wedding, and those watching know what it's like at a wedding. I don't like doing Piano Man at weddings.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll do. I mean, like, I might do Piano Man. Also, like, the other thing is, like, everybody does Piano Man slightly differently. Mm-hmm. And so people will be like, oh yeah, this is when this part goes and this and like, and so like I write the form out when I do Piano Man, when I have to do Piano Man, I'll write the form out. I'll send it to everybody who's playing it that night and be like, this is going to be the form for tonight. Cause like everybody does it differently. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I just keep always looking over here. I'm just
1 second. This is like
down
falling.
Okay.
Let me do this.
Yeah.
Let me do this. Sorry. What's Matt is his name?
Yeah.
Sorry, Matt. Squeak.
Oh, I went the wrong way with mine. I shouldn't have even touched it because mine was kind of falling too. So I have a funny story about Piano Man.
Oh yeah.
But no, there are just songs that you play a lot, and there are songs that. When I tell people I don't like to play them, they're like, really? That's such a guitar song. And I was like, that's kind of why I don't want to do it. Like Sweet Child of Mine.
Yeah.
I'm always just like, I don't want to do that song. I mean, I think, and it's only because, think about it, like as a guitar player, that's one of the very first songs I ever learned. Right.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's probably as a guitar teacher, not anymore. Yeah. But when I was teaching more kids, it was like one of the top requested songs. I mean, I've taught that. So in a way, it's like, it's easy for me, but I'm just like,
you know, it's funny because like Sweet Child of Mine was also one of the first songs that I ever learned on guitar, and I'm not a guitar player. Yeah. Like I learned that in Hotel California. Yeah. I don't know. It's early for those watching. It's early in the morning for me. Maybe not for you. Like you've been up since 9 a.m. or like 8 a.m. or whatever.
That's not that early.
It's early for me.
A buddy of mine literally said to me once, he's like, I don't get like who's getting up at 8 a.m. And I was like,
most people.
I was like, do you mean like it's too early? He's like, no, it's like late in the morning. And I was like,
late?
A lot of people get up at 8 a.m.
Late?
Like 8
a.m. is late?
One of my best friends who's like a super morning person. He gets up at like 6:30 or 7 every day. And he said that. He was like, no one gets up at 8. And I was like, yeah, a lot of people.
Yeah.
A lot of people get up. Piano Man story.
Yeah,
really quick.
Sure, let's hear it.
I'm not going to say any names here. And I won't even say the names who are on my side with this. There's no sides. That was an argument. But anyway, playing Piano Man. Last song of the night, wedding, requested. Last song of the night, requested.
I already know what's happening in this song.
I might have told you this story too. So we play it. And again, I'm not going to use the name, but the singer is one of my favorite singers to play with, and this is nothing that singer did.
So it's me. It was me.
No, it wasn't you. Yeah, no, you're not one of my fans. I'm just kidding.
Oh.
I'm just kidding. But and if I told you the name, you'd be like, oh yeah, great, amazing, great vocalist. And
it's a guy.
Yeah. Start singing through it, and every time I played that song, the singers typically make turns at different points. Yeah. Like it's not like the record. So I have the chart in front of me, but it's Piano Man. So I'm like, I just fill in really minimal stuff.
Yeah.
And
the guitar doesn't do much in Piano Man.
No. So sometimes I'll just be like, if the piano is really just doing really well, it's like, I'll just leave it and just kind of do little simple shit. So anyway, it's the band, and we're up on there and up on stage. And anyway, singer takes some turns. Piano man gets frustrated with the moments in which the singer has decided to change to, let's say, a chorus or change to a verse. And
this is why I send the form out to everybody, just to let them know, because everybody does it differently.
Yeah. So, which for me, like gigging and doing these types of gigs, a part of the job is being able to roll with the punches and change on the fly. And it's a lot of it is improvisation. Yeah, it's not like jazz improvisation. It's like performance improvisation. Yeah. And so I'm always listening to the vocalist and trying to make, okay, we're going here now. And so Piano Man has a couple of these turns where it's like, there's a little instrumental break before the next part. So we were skipping some of those, and I got the gist of it. He gets frustrated one time, gets frustrated a second time, puts his hands up, stops playing.
The keyboard player?
Yeah. And gets off stage. And
was this recently?
It was last summer.
Oh, wow.
And gets off stage, and me and bass player are like, whoa. And it was like a minute and a half into the song. There was like another, how long is that song? 4 minutes?
Yeah. Well, so, that Piano Man is like 6 minutes. Yeah. 6 or 7 minutes.
So it wasn't that long into the song. Yeah. And he does this and throws a fit and gets off stage. Yeah. And so me and bass player are like, oh, and then the bass player starts filling in more. Then I'm like, because I'm doing a lot of fill, so I'm like, okay, now I got to fill this out more.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, where are we at? Like, let's play the full voicings of these chords here. And I was like, it was fine. Like, it just took me off. I went from having like no responsibility to having all the responsibility.
Let me ask you a question. Who's playing drums? I knew it. I knew it. I knew it immediately.
And so again, that was nothing. So I've played with this vocalist a million. Okay, so let's be clear. Let's be clear about my stance on this.
Yeah.
I didn't give two shits about. Oh, I swore. Okay. You should hear some other guests. They swear a lot. So I just don't know how it affects. Didn't give two poops about anything the vocalist was doing, because he's a professional and he's one of the best. And I've played with him so many times. So whenever, like I said, when vocalists do different things, I never think twice about it. I'm always like, oh, this is how they're going to play this song. And especially him, he has so many things that he specifically does in songs that I'm just like, pay attention. And I never, ever hold that against any vocalist. It's always like, I'm kind of like here to back them up.
Yeah.
Right. So when those things happen, like I said, I don't even think about him. So when he throws a fit, I'm like, chill out, man. Like, it's fine. And then he throws a fit and gets up, and I was like, you son of a bitch.
That is the childish thing, the most childish thing I've ever heard. Like, that's just not something you do. Like, if you're not vibing with the song, you just go, you just got to live. You go through it. And again, like, I used to talk about this with my band out in New York all the time. The person, we used to say this, I don't know if it's like a music term, but like the person who is most wrong is the person you follow, is the person that you like. Cause like,
yes,
you know, like everybody else, if everybody else can like figure out what's happening and the person who's wrong just doesn't know what's happening, you just got to like vibe with them, because like they're going to do what they're doing no matter what, because they don't know what's going on, you know,
because they don't even realize they're wrong.
Right. Exactly. And so just like, you know, if a singer is singing in the wrong key, join that key, right? If, you know, like just change to fit whatever the most wrong person is doing. Yeah.
And exactly. And that brings up other topics too that I've had where I've played where like the keyboardist plays in the wrong key and doesn't even realize he's doing it. Yeah. And I'm over here bumping bass player and going like, let's switch down a half step.
Yeah, right.
Because he's not paying attention.
Yeah,
and then so we do it. You're exactly right. I couldn't agree more, because that's exactly where my head goes. Yeah. Like you don't want to be like, hey, where you?
Yeah, in the middle of a set, just like, we're in G. We're in G, my guy.
Yeah.
I'll
do it sometimes. Like sometimes I get it hard on I'm kind of hard on like
did you say sometimes you get a hard on?
Shut up. I knew you were going to say that. I'm a little, I can be a little bit like, I've had several times where it's a solo section and the bass player doesn't know the solo section.
Yeah.
And they're right next to me. And I'm like, I remember a couple days I was like shouting the chords. Yeah. I'm like, because I'm trying to play to the changes or playing over it. For sure. But anyway, this guy did this, and then we covered and we filled it in. It was fine. And it was a last song, and it was a request, and it was a wedding. And that was like, dude.
Yeah.
And so
you can't, the piano player cannot leave the stage on piano, man.
It's like if I messed up like Sweet Child of Mine and I was like, I'm done.
Right.
Got off stage.
Or play that funky music. You're like, I don't want to play guitar on this song. Like, okay.
At least the bass player can cover that. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, but then you go like play like there's this like many electric guitar parts in that where you just like goes to guitar. Like you can't just like
So afterwards, me and the singer like right away. I mean, I was pissed. I literally looked at him and I was like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
And then singer comes up behind me and he was like, hey man, that was unacceptable. I cannot believe you did that. And then it was like, you weren't singing in the right way. And then I was like right away, I was like, that doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
I was like,
it doesn't matter.
I was like, you don't get off stage. I was like, Jesus, man.
No.
Like, what the hell? And
also,
then I played next weekend with the same keyboard.
Really? Oh man.
I was like, hey man. Sorry,
I feel bad when let's say like I did a gig the other night and there were like 4 singers, and so like I had like, I was, we're all night I had 8 songs to sing in like 4 sets, which is great for me. I'm like, I love that. It's like, I love like singing less and just like,
totally.
But like, I didn't have a song for the last half an hour of the set. So I was like, should I just go home? Like, I'm not like, there are 4 singers. I don't have a song for the last hour of the set, half hour of the set. And they're like, anybody can do backups. I'm just like doubling somebody else.
Yeah.
Like I just go home. But I was like, no, I'm going to stick around and like dance and sing backups, because that like, you just don't do that. You just don't leave the stage, Yeah. The only reason I ever leave the stage is to go out to the dance floor and like hear what it sounds like on the stage. Yeah. Sometimes. But like, that's just like, for the piano player to leave on Piano Man is like the epitome of like just a giant F you.
Like, right? What the hell?
That's really messed up.
If you're a guitar player or bass player, you should really have a copy of Guitar Pro tablature software. I've been using Guitar Pro for like 15 years, and I really can't live without it. At this point, it's sort of an industry standard within the guitar education realm, and it's really easy to use. You can make all your licks and write out all your songs, and you can actually use it in conjunction with ultimateguitar.com, where you can download Guitar Pro files and learn all your favorite songs. So I couldn't recommend this software enough. And if you use the code MikeGP at checkout, you can get 10% off your copy of Guitar Pro 8. That's Mike, MikeGP at checkout, guitar-pro.com.
I have had, so sometimes we do what Scott calls East Coast sets, and I think I've talked to you about them. You're like, that's not a thing. Sorry.
Don't get me started on this East Coast set thing. Okay. Oh my God. I played on the East Coast for a very long time, and whatever they're calling East Coast is not East Coast. I get continuous music, right? I get like if they want in the East Coast, well, when the bands that I played in, we call that continuous, right? We don't call it East Coast because in the East Coast we have set breaks. If we don't have set breaks, we have a name for it, continuous. So like, you can't call it East Coast because you went to one wedding and it had continuous music. You know what I mean? And so like,
I don't know where it came from.
I don't know where it came from either. And I came here and I were like, East Coast style. I was like, yeah, sure. I love you. You know, I'm from the East Coast. I can do East Coast style. And then I found out that it like it's 5 hours of nonstop music. I'm like, what are you talking about?
There's like people getting swapped in and swapped out.
Right. Yeah.
I've done 2 of those, or I mean, I've done more than 2, but I've done 2. Maybe only I've done. It doesn't matter. I've done 2 with Sam Cooke.
Yeah.
And which is great.
Yeah.
Because he is a singer who plays guitar, who will play every part. And both times, the first time I was like, so what parts do you play? And he's like, I just play the parts. He's like, you just do your thing, man. Yeah. And I'm like, all right, but like, and I was like, okay, never mind. We're not going to have this conversation. Cause I think he's just kind of like, I'll just play and you follow, which is totally cool.
Yeah, for sure.
And it was really nice because, he plays all the parts and so many of the songs like don't have 2 guitar parts.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times I'm doing fills and I'm doing little popcorn things like ding, 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 right? And then both times I had my break near the end of the set because each person gets a break to themselves. Yeah. And sometimes it's several people and you swap people in and out. That's why it's me and Sam. It's a guitar. He plays guitar.
Right.
So I have my break and I come back and I go what was it? Maybe it was, I don't remember. I don't remember how the conversation happened, but I went on my break and then I looked at the set list and they're all these like one guitar songs and they're all like very much country blues, like his thing. And I don't know if I talked to him about it. Like, I was like, are you good? One time I did. I was like, do you got the rest of these songs? He's like, hell yeah, man. He's like, get off stage. You're good. I just drank beer and watched the band for like the last half hour. Yeah. Just like hung out by myself. Happened both times because like Sam plays all the parts and he's like, you're good, man. He's like,
again, it's kind of like having like 4 singers on a gig, right? Where like you like having 4 singers is great because you can rely on other people to pick up the parts and whatever. But then also like, you can take a break, like you can be like, okay, I'm not singing for another like 4 songs. I'm going to take a break, get a drink, relax a little bit. And like, especially for that continuous East Coast style. I think that it's imperative to have like somebody like Sam Cooke who's like, plays guitar and sings, so you can double up on things, or like somebody who can like play drums and
like Reed or something,
like Reed, right? Or like or Ben Peterson, who also like plays drums, he plays sax, he plays bass, he can he's like or like Dave Feely, like right,
because I usually have to swap, right? I usually play bass a lot. So I have my guitar set, I have a bass set, and then I get a break. And it's always me and Sam on those. And one time it was Murphy on bass. Murphy, what's Murphy's last name? Smith?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
he moved to Denver. Yeah.
Oh, he moved to Denver. I thought he moved back to Louisiana.
No, I'm pretty sure he moved to Denver.
Oh, nice. That's awesome. Yeah. Great player. And he wears his bass really high. Yeah. And on me, it's even higher. Yeah. So I picked it up and I was like,
I remember I did a gig in Gaza in New Orleans, right? And like my guitar strap was broken like mid tour. Like I just got to Gaza, about to go on a cruise. It was like the Sail Across the Sun, this train band cruise. And so we were going to be out for like a week, and my strap broke the day before we're about to jump on this cruise, right? And so like I got on stage. I'm like, my strap's broken. I'm like, what the hell am I gonna do? And I asked a guitar player for his strap, and now he's a rock guitar player, and I am like, And I'm like, you know, like I'm like a soul singer-songwriter, like guitar player, right? So I wear my guitar like right here. Now, he gave me his guitar strap and he said, you can borrow my guitar strap. It's totally fine. Just one thing. Don't change where it hangs. He's like, you can borrow it. It's totally fine. Just don't change where it hangs because I don't like having to change it back and forward. I was like, okay, sure. Yeah. I'm like in my head. I'm like, yeah, sure. Whatever. I put the guitar on and it's like at my knees. And I'm like trying to play the guitar. And it's like, I can't even reach it. It's like literally completely pointless for me to even have the strap at that point. Right.
Like I might as well just held it with the strength of my wrist,
like
and my
on my leg or whatever, you know, like, yeah,
so
it was hilarious. I definitely at one point just because the band that I had a guitar player in it also.
Okay.
So I was just doing like rhythm stuff.
You're just like, I guess I just won't play.
Right. I put it down. I was like, I'm not playing. I'm not playing. We got keys. We got drums. We got really bass.
Funny.
We got guitar. I'm like, I don't need to be on this. I'm just doing this for fun now.
That happens. That's like when I pick up a student's guitar. It'd be the same thing. Like I at high school I teach at.
You're also like 15 feet tall. So like, yeah, you're probably like.
Well, they give me their guitar straps. And
how is that even possible?
Oh, some of the kids, they're just rockers.
Yeah.
And so I taught the students, it was like an Iron Maiden song.
Oh, yeah.
So it was all the rock kids. And so I was like, oh, let me see your guitar because I used my acoustic because I can walk around the class.
Right.
So I'm like, it's not loud enough anyway. Give me your guitar. And I'm like,
let me ask you a question.
Trying to show him stuff. And I'm like, I can barely play this. It's at my knees.
Let me ask you a serious question. As a guitar teacher and a rock guitar player, you play rock. Mm-hmm. What is the point? Like why? Just why?
What do you mean?
Like, why do they do that?
Oh, that.
Like, why is it down there?
I was like, no, what is the point of being a rock guitar teacher?
No.
I was like, this seems kind of offensive.
No, I'm not. No, it's still a little offensive, but like not
this.
Like, why?
Okay.
Like, explain to me why that makes sense to me. I mean, like your wrist has to be like this.
So I think there are two things. I think the first thing is it's literally just the look. I think that's a big thing. It's just
I was gonna do a motion, but I'm I'm trying to keep it kid friendly over here.
So
like, yeah. Okay.
I think it is. I should scooch over here. I think it is a look thing. That's probably the main thing for most people. I think for some people, they've gotten used to it, so it's comfort. But I have said this, like when I teach people. If they say, well, when I stand up, it's like way hard to play. It's easy to say, well, just practice standing up, but really you can practice technique sitting down that you use standing up. It's just a matter of like, well, how do my hands shift when I'm standing? So, and the big thing is if you play like this, like very much thumb behind and like flat, like. Good luck standing up because you'll be like that. And like, that's not to say that you can't do it if you get really used to it. Yeah. But I have noticed that a lot of guys, their thumb height is just a little bit higher on the back of the neck, which stops from this and brings you more into like a this. Yeah. And so it's more of a cupped thing rather than like a full bent. Yeah. And so I think for some people, they also, it's comfort because they have their technique isn't so reliant on this. They have a little bit more of like a thumb coming up the back of the neck a little bit more and over top. Like Hendrix, the thumb over top. Like that's
I do the thumb over top.
Yeah. And when you're standing up, it's way easier to play that way than it is to have that thumb in the back. Because this is the thing that's hard. You know what I mean?
How do they do like further down the neck? Like how because like for me, like over here, like if it's hanging down this way and like your thumb maybe comes over top, sure, whatever. Yeah. But then like you go further down the neck and you just for me, it needs to be closer up here so I can reach. I do also, I'm playing like jazz chords. Yeah. So like, it's a little different, but I'm sure they're like, I couldn't even imagine like.
Yeah, I think
you look like Smeagol trying to like do this.
Yeah, I think it.
I don't know. Like, how do you even do that?
I think what you just brought up too, like the jazz chord thing. I think it's like a stylistic thing. Like, what are we playing? If you're playing, like, look at like, was it Billy Joel? Billy Joe Armstrong.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, what's he playing? Power chords. So he probably has a thumb, or he's probably just doing like 2-finger power chords. And so, or even guys who play lower who are shredders. Like, there are some that aren't extremely low, but like aren't high by any means. Like, Paul Gilbert is a great player, and he's kind of just standard, like kind of just at a standard level. Where like me, I'm a little higher than the average bear.
And I'm higher than you. I'm like, yeah. I play like where Murphy plays his bass. I'm like,
oh yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
I used to.
I'm like right in the.
And it looks, and I never noticed it. Speaking of that, like I never noticed it in Murphy until I was like, oh, like I was like, I have like I have this, and so like it holds it up.
Yeah, right. There you go.
And so, but
I got a lot of that too. Don't you worry.
I think it's a stylistic preference in the fact of like, what techniques am I having to use to play this, and does it feel comfortable? Right.
Yeah.
So like for me, it just hasn't ever felt comfortable. And one thing I've noticed, like I said, is the way to make it feel comfortable is to change my technique and have that thumb brought up for everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which changes some of the things I play. So it's like certain lines and ideas, I don't play with my thumb that high. So it's like, I'd have to like retrain myself to play certain things. But I've every once in a while I mess with it, because every once in a while I get where I'm like, I should, practice this standing up because I'm gonna be playing.
Yeah.
And then sometimes I'm like, every once in a while I'll experiment with going lower, because I'm like, I feel like, I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, I want to look like a cool rock star with the lower.
I do not want to look like a cool rock star. I want to look like a person who knows how to play guitar. Is what I want to look like. And so like, I'm not gonna test the limits of my ability to play guitar and like change the.
You had that.
I'm like, I'm good where I am. I'm comfortable.
You have a little bit of like PTSD from that strap you borrowed.
Oh, right. Exactly. Yeah.
You're like, oh,
never going back. No, literally, I'm not even joking. After that, I went out and I bought like 6 straps. And so like now I have like now I have even more. So now I have like a strap per guitar plus like 3 extra straps.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I have them laying around.
Yeah.
Same thing. Like,
but also straps are like, I mean, nice straps are like expensive.
I have some cheap ass straps.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah. Because I bought like 2 or 3 just like literally like $10 straps that I could just throw in every bag and just have them just in case. Yeah. I have some nice ones too. I have a really nice leather one, Italian leather that I bought when we were there, and it was like $70. It's fucking great.
Yeah, like that's. I mean, nowadays that's basically what an average strap is, like $50 to $70.
Yep. And I have like a Levy strap. Levy's are good, and then I have a Fender strap, and I have some other random ones, but yeah, man, I think as a guitar player, it's like if you can have an extra strap, an extra cable, and of course extra strings and extra picks at all time. Like,
and as a bad guitar player, an extra capo.
Well, yeah. I mean, I have capos in my double guitar bag, and I have a capo in both of each acoustics.
See, but you can probably, I feel like you can, like, if you forget a capo, you can be like, sure, I'll just like play capo-less. It's fine. It's not a big deal.
It's 100%. And even if I want the same voicings, I can still just bar all those chords. I've gotten used to it. And
for me, if I forget a capo, I have to like relearn how really in quickly. My head, like, how does this actually work without the capo?
Yeah. Oh yeah, that would. One time I forgot a capo, and it was a bunch of acoustic. Well, it was all acoustic set.
Yeah.
And my hand was very sore by the end of the set because I forgot my capo. But it was fine. Like, the songs went fine. I mean, because it doesn't change the way I play or how I play. It just changes how sore my hand will be at the end if I have to do 30 capo songs.
You're like stretching your fingers.
Because I'm trying to get the voicings right.
Doing a John Mayer, like.
But yeah, I mean, sometimes I even have an extra rig.
Yeah.
Like, because I have a miniature, I have like it's a company named Black Star, and they have this little thing called the Amp 2. It's a DI rig.
Okay.
And it's like, I don't know, it's like what I'm drawing right now. That size.
Square, rectangle,
Fits right in my gig bag.
Yeah,
and so I'll bring that too, just in case. You never know, Because I've had all those things happen. Like where it's like, where's my strap? Oh, I took it off for a second. So I have an extra ones. Or like my cable just craps out, or obviously broken strings or forgotten picks or whatever.
Yeah.
But we should talk about The Voice.
Yeah, sure. Well, yeah, we haven't, it's been an hour. We haven't even talked about The Voice. Yes, yeah.
This is kind of how these things go. How is it?
Great transition. Like, just like the segue is just like you're driving that segue right off the cliff. Right
Yeah. So, how much can I say? I mean, because like we had gigs lined up this summer.
We did have some gigs lined up this summer.
We
were supposed to be opening for what was it, Vanessa Carlton, actually.
Were we?
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Son of a bitch.
I know.
What the hell?
It was like going to be a huge festival. Like she started, like her team started promoting me opening for her. It's like a whole thing, and then obviously I had to like leave to do the show. Dang. Which was, and I couldn't, and the worst part was like there was a couple of like First Ave gigs that I had spoken to like First Ave about doing, and like a bunch of other people that had asked me to like open for them, and I was like yeah, cool, and then like as I got further on in the show, I was like, this doesn't seem like it's gonna be happening for me, which was very like good and bad, because like I had made all these promises to people. And then I had to cancel them, which sucked. But I'm on national television, so it's kind of like
I feel, and I'm like I feel like I'm used to shows coming and being canceled.
Yeah.
So when they got canceled, I was kind of like, oh, okay, I didn't even think twice about it.
Right, something must have just fallen through.
Yeah, exactly. And it was a busy summer for me anyway. So it's like,
good for you.
Thank you.
You too. Kind of. I was just like basically like between episodes, I was just like sitting on like on my like hotel bed, just binge watching TV shows, which it was funny because I'm like looking back, and like I thought in my head I was like, oh, everybody's doing the same thing as me. They're just in their room watching whatever on TV, Dead Boy Detectives or something, and everything's fine. But no, like everybody was out getting like footage and B-roll, and I was not. And like now I'm just like, oh, I need a lot of B-roll. I need to go and hang with all these people and like try and get videos with all of them. Yeah.
And getting into the whole social media game of it.
Yeah.
Which I want to know what your experience has been with that so far, because I know for me, like I do, even though I'm on it all the time, and I do my lessons and I do this and I do other things.
You're a social media king for real. Like you got that.
But I am bad. Like there's a lot of times where I like to feel separate from it.
Yeah.
So I will just not do blatantly obvious things that I should do as a content creator, which are like get footage at shows. Like when I'm at a gig, I'm like, I've been making content all week, and then I'm hanging out with people like you or like friends I haven't seen for a while. I'm like, I just want to hang. I don't want to like try to take pictures and stuff. So
I know.
So how do you feel about that stuff?
I hate it. I hate it so much.
I think that's what. Yeah. I think that's why what deters most people is the fact of like, I don't want to document everything.
Well, I don't mind documenting everything. I mean, it's not even about, I am not good at getting the right angles. I'm not good at remembering to do the thing. I'm also like, I get distracted by the thing that I'm doing.
Yes.
Like if I'm like going to a show, I'm going to see The Dip tonight. I'm very excited about that. Jordan Macampa's opening for them. Like really, really great. I'm probably going to try and get some footage and pictures. And also whenever I do get footage or pictures, I went to see Tori Kelly. I went to see Stevie Wonder. I always like, I'll take footage, I'll take videos, I'll do all that, and I'll forget to post it. Yeah. It'll just be like months later. I'm like, oh, that was a waste. Like, I just, but like, like I also am just like, I need to just hire another person to just like go to all these shows and just like be like a person that just walks around and follows me and films me, because it would be great. And I'd love to have that kind of money. An
assistant.
An assistant. Just like my friend, we did a show together in Atlantic City. Caleb Hawley, I don't know if you've had him on the show at all.
No.
But he we did a show together in Atlantic City, and there's like it's, you know, it's old hotel, there's really cool like lighting and like Art Deco styles and everything. It was very cool. And he just had one of his band members was just like constantly following him around, like taking pictures, videos and everything. And I was like, man, that's genius. Like I need to just like get like one of my band members and hire them to follow me around and do all this stuff, because I cannot do it. I won't remember. I won't get the right angles, won't be good at it. And I'm just like, and it just like is one of those things that I just like will forget to even post at the end of the day. So I need like a social media person that will just like focus on that for me. But yeah, I hate it. I hate it so much. It's not so much that I hate like the actual like social media aspect of it. I love like the idea of like telling people how I'm doing. And especially now that people are actually like medium paying attention to what I'm doing, you know, I love like, you know, like get like like putting it out there and like having people know. It's just like I always just forget to like do it. And like you see these young kids that like on the show, they all are like
vlogging and
well, they're like I think the oldest I'm the oldest person left. And so like the oldest person near me is 37, and the oldest person from that person is like, I think there's a couple of people who are 37, and then the oldest person from that person is like 29 or something. So like they're like 10 years younger than us, and they're like getting all this footage and all the, you know, the B-roll and all that. I'm like, oh man, I'm just missing out. I'm missing out on all the great opportunities.
It takes some getting used to.
Yeah. And you also have like, I was talking to Shane Cox about this, like he does videos and stuff, and you have a hook. You have a really good hook that, because like, you're like, here's what I'm going to do. Blah, 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 blah. I did it.
Yeah.
Do it yourself. Bye. You know, and that's, I think that's really cool. I think that's a great like hook. I don't have that. I'm like I'm not going and like, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to sing this. Do it yourself. Bye.
One of the best things you can do as a musician is to protect your own hearing. I've been using these Eargasm high fidelity earplugs for months now, and I really love them. They're nice and discreet, high quality, and they don't make any of the sound muffled. They let in the right frequencies that I need on gigs or at shows. You can get 10% off your order if you use code MSALO10 at checkout. That's my first initial M, my last name Salo, SALOW, 10 at checkout to get 10% off your order at eargasm.com.
Education is, I gotta tell you, like way easier.
Yeah.
Because when I first started doing the education stuff, and they were like, you gotta have a hook. Like I listened to all these social media things, and I was like, oh yeah, I guess I do that. And they say these like have your, you know, your opening line, get right to the point of the thing. Like what are you learning in this video? And then there's like a body of like whatever background story or whatever you want to call it. And that's like, hey, let's like blah, blah, blah. All right, this is in this key, and you know, it's in the style of blah, blah, blah. And then it's like, and then here's how you play it. And then so it's like you have like hook, line, sinker, they call it, or I think of it as like kind of like that opening hook, and then like the body, kind of like intro, body, and then outro, almost. And but it's easy with education because education is sort of designed that way anyway.
Right.
Like
exactly.
So when people act like it's a genius thing, I'm like, I just feel like it's.
You just took the template and did it. Yeah.
It's really simple, but it's harder. Like it would be harder with some, and education. When I say education, there are a lot of things on social media that fall under that. It's not just like I'm a guitar teacher and here's this thing I'm teaching. There's so many education format things for people who aren't even educators. Just like this is how I saved $500 on this trip to Italy.
Right.
And then it's like the same thing. That's education. Or like let's make this freaking salsa. And then it's like the thing, and it's like the same format, and they're making salsa and things that don't feel like education are. And then so it's harder when it's like just art. Yeah. Because it's like, well, what's the hook? Like,
there's one
it needs
person,
to be like visual hooks.
There's one person that I follow that she she does like, she makes like some food or whatever, but then like talks about existentialism and stuff like that. So she's like, make this pasta with me while I talk about like the depths of your soul. And she's like making pasta from scratch. And the visuals are like really soft and like very like a cinematic. Right. And then she's talking about like, well, in the grand scheme of things, we're a spark on a little island traveling through space. And we're like, oh man, like she's like really getting into it. And it's very cool. But also like she's still doing the like make this pasta with me, and she's got the recipe there. But it's like the pasta part of it is just like so secondary to the actual like story that she's telling, and you just get sucked into the story and you forget that you're watching a pasta making video. It's great. Yeah. I love that. I love that sort of thing. I love that.
There are a few things that like as an artist that you could do. Like I know one thing that for some reason I don't quite understand the hype around it, but like there's like processes that people like. So like, not that you should do get ready with me, but they like a process, like where there's like a beginning and something's happening, and then there's the end result. And so like there could be something in there. Maybe where it doesn't have to be educational, but there's a process. You're like, here's my and it doesn't have, you don't have to say here's my process, but like there could be something that you do all the time in music that it would be like maybe recording a song. Right. And especially if you have the visual cues that people love, like that mic is like just iconic. Yeah, it is. So they have like that just alone, people like professional.
Yeah. Well, the thing I was going to say was like, maybe I could do the like, make it to 10,000 followers with me.
Yeah, there you go.
It was like, this is how I'm going to try and do it. And like, you know,
don't do what the one guy said, I'm going to walk. I think one guy was like, I'm going to drink a beer for every, I think he's at 100 followers or 1,000 followers, and like thousands of people followed it. Then he was going to drink a beer a day for every 100 followers or something. And he got to like 10,000. He's like, I can't do that anymore. So
oh my goodness.
He like stopped doing it because he was like, I didn't think
I'd get that many followers. Like that's the whole point.
Another guy was like, I'm going to walk an inch for every follower. And he's got like 1 million now. So he walks like 16 miles a day or something. Oh, wow. But he lost a bunch of weight.
That's good. I need to lose weight.
He was like an overweight dude. And so but when I saw his stuff blow up, I was like, you're that's going to regret that.
1 million followers. Yeah.
But you just don't do one of those things. Like, hey, I'll write a song for every 100,000, 100,000 for every,
I could do, I'll write a song for every like 5,000 followers I get, you know what I mean? Or like maybe like 3.
You're on The Voice now, so
I'm on The Voice, yeah.
So that could grow pretty fast.
Yeah, I'll write a song for every 5,000 followers that I get. I'm like, you know, like I'm doing this, I'm doing like other things. This is like coming back to The Voice. Yeah, a lot of the people that were on the show really blew up. Like I started with like 3,000 followers. Mm-hmm. And now I have like 3,300. and some people started with like 500 followers and now they're like 8,000 followers. Okay. And I'm like, cool. But the thing is like, I don't do the same things that like some people are like,
they're making content
constantly, you know, like and I recognize that content is now my job, right? Yeah. Before my job was doing like live music, and that still is my job, like my day job, but like now content is a bigger part of my job, which I need to like adjust my life to fit around content. It's like
it'd be so easy for you. You have so many songs that you know. Yeah. I mean, I build it into my week. Yeah. So I have a certain set of like a block. Yeah. And that's when I pump everything out. Not this, of course. This is more scheduled. But when I have a block, so I'll do all 7 of my posts in that block.
See, yeah. I've been thinking like batching, right? I've been thinking about doing that like also like when I do one post, I'll like schedule a post for the next one. And my thing is and this is something that I'm just like a very communal person. When I perform, I love to do it with other people. I'm not like a solo. I mean, I do solo shows and all that. Yeah, sure. Whatever. But like, I love to like perform. I love to do music with other people. And so I'm not as motivated to like get in front of a camera or whatever and do like a solo like little performance. I love doing the thing where it's like it doesn't have to be like a drummer. It can be like you know, you and I could do a guitar thing, right? Or like me and Theo could like, he could play keys and I could sing, whatever. We've thought about doing like, and you know, I've arranged for some of those things to happen, but I'm just like, I have to have another person involved, because for me, it just feels weird.
I think you could totally do it by yourself.
I know I could.
All you need is all you need is your phone and a stand for it. Yeah. And then a nice backdrop that you just use every time. Yeah. Especially, you probably don't need as much of like the consistent backdrop, because now you have something like the voice that's I'm getting far away from this. Something like the voice that's like propelling your face. Yeah. Right. Yeah. But it would, like, if you just took like an hour or 2 hours in one day and you're just like, all right, I'm just gonna grab my guitar and I'm just gonna sing this song at my phone. Yeah. And then I'm gonna sing this song, and then just break them down into little snippets, like the best parts, and just post that.
I know that it might I'm gonna sound real Hollywood right now, and I know that it might sound crazy, but to find an hour in the day for me right now is really hard. It's really hard. And I'm famous, or like, I don't have time to like do this thing. No, like I literally, like, I'm doing like interviews constantly. Yeah. I'm like, you know, like on like Zoom calls or whatever. Yeah. And I'm trying to book shows in the future, and like to find an hour, and you know, like it's kind of like working out, right? You need to you got to schedule it. You got to make sure you show up and like do the thing. And I get it. It's just like, again, I have to like readjust my thinking to fit that. Yeah.
And especially if you want to grow that, because some people look at the social media thing, I think, incorrectly. Yeah. They feel like if they do it, then that's what they'll be. But if you're already doing what you're doing, it'll just help what you're doing. Yeah. So like, I didn't want to, you are the reason that I do the online stuff. I think I told you that before.
You've told me this before.
Yeah. You are the reason, because we were in the car on like a 3-hour drive back from Fargo. Right. First time we met, actually. Yeah. And you rode back with me, and you were like, you should just do some fucking lessons, man. You should just teach on there. Like you should be doing that. And you're kind of talking that way. And like, you could like, show people like how you play the songs for these gigs and stuff. And that was like December or something. It was like or was it November? It was like almost winter gig. Yeah. It was like early December, and I started doing that a month later, and then everything blew up. Yeah. But my fear was, and I think we talked about this, was I was doing social media just as an outlet to share my original music. And I didn't do it all the time. I would maybe post like, sometimes I'd get on a roll where I'd have stuff to post for a couple days. Yeah. But it was usually like once a week, maybe twice a week. And then I made the shift, but I didn't ever want to. I was like, I don't want to be like the teacher guy on there. That's stupid. And I think you were like, well, we kind of both talked to us like, well, that's what I do for most of my income anyway. Why not just do it there too? Yeah, right. And then you realize
exactly, that's the thing. Yeah.
And then you realize it's like, oh, that doesn't hurt my current situation at all. It actually only adds to it. And so that's the weirdest thing with the social media thing, is like, if you can make time for it, it does take time. And that's the hard part, but it only helps whatever you're doing.
Right. So for me, like, I completely agree with what you're saying. Like for me, like the social media thing, the reason I want to like build that up is for more shows, right? I want to be doing more performances. I want to travel. I like to tour. So like, I want to be doing more of that. And so, to build up a social media, the plan is to just do it so that more people around the country can see me, and then I can go to these cities and perform in these cities and bring a band, which is like would be my favorite thing. I'm talking with Theo right now about doing a tour in like late February, early March next year.
Nice.
And just going down to New Orleans, just like the two of us, and just like getting in a car, picking up musicians as we go, doing a bunch of shows with like other musicians from The Voice, and just doing that sort of thing. And like, I want to like, just, you know, throw the followers down in front of these like venues and be like, look, I have this big following. And, you know, I was on The Voice, and like I'll be bringing a couple of The Voice people on most gigs that I do. So like, just come and let me do it.
Yeah.
And I've, you know, like I want that gravitas, you know, to like be able to just say like, you know, book me. I get that it's like coming out of nowhere. I've never played Madison before or whatever, but just like, trust me, it's going to be good. Right. And that's like it's harder when you're like have a small following to like show like basically like tell people like this is going to be good. But so like I want to build the following and just like have, and I guess the way to do that is to like be consistent out there. But you know, I'm trying.
Exactly. And I think the hardest thing probably for you, that it is a big difference in why it felt easier for me. Is that as I wanted to do the social media thing in college. So I started posting my first YouTube videos like when I was like 21 or something. So it's always been there, and it's always been evolving.
Right.
So it's a little harder to just like fully dive in if there hasn't kind of been that ever presence of it
established.
Because I started doing YouTube stuff and made friends in the, I guess, that community, the guitar community, like years ago. And then when Instagram came out, I shifted to Instagram and then built that up. And it was like I was consistently posting, but like not like I am now. It was like Instagram like once a week, YouTube like maybe once a month, maybe once every 2 months. But I was just making it a constant effort. And
how often do you post now?
On Instagram? Every day.
Like, I mean, like how many, just once a day?
Yeah. Once a day.
Okay.
Yep.
That's not bad. I mean, that's
no. So I do once a day, and then.
Do you do stories and like, do you do a post every day, or do you do a story every day?
I do a post every day.
Do you do stories at all?
For stories, I mostly will do, I will
post and then post and share your story.
So I'll try to do like 5 to 10, something in the story. And sometimes, most of the time, it's like the post I've made that week, and I'm just sharing them in the story, or I'm sharing ones that I really think are going to jive with maybe the marketing I'm trying to do at that point. So if I'm trying to get new students, I'll literally have like my best playing videos and my best lesson videos on either end of a thing that says sign up for lessons. So it'll be like this one that's like me shredding something, and then this one that's me playing the fusion, and then they'll say signing up people for one-on-one lessons, and then the next story is like maybe me teaching a lesson.
For sure.
And so I do that quite often, and then I like to share other people's stuff too. Like if I see something really funny or something really good that is aligned with how I am, then I'll share it. I am not one of the people who like there are some guys who just like share all guitar content, and I don't know how genuine it is. I'm not calling them out and saying they're not, but like for me,
I am. No, I'm not.
For me, there are certain like guitar memes where I'm like, that's dumb. Like, and so a lot of people share them, and I'm like, I don't find it funny. Fine if you do. It's just I don't share. I try to share things.
Acoustics. Did you see the acoustics?
Acoustics.
What's the difference between like why do
good one.
Why shut up. Why does like a guitar bounce off the walls, and a pigeon like not bounce off the walls? Like a pigeon's like voice not bounce off the walls. Like guitar bounces off the walls. Pigeon doesn't bounce off the walls because acoustics.
Acoustics. I get it.
You're like, did we really like just go?
That took a long time to get out.
Well, it's a visual thing. I'm trying to like explain something. I'm trying to explain a visual thing, but like, like that's one of those guitar memes that I find very funny.
Yeah, that's a good one. I haven't heard that one.
You haven't seen that one?
No.
That's a good one. I like that one.
I do like the one. There's a really stupid one that's it's just I don't remember what it says, but it's a microphone on a head on a it's like a half stack, and it's the head and the speakers and the microphones on the head. I just think it's stupid. I don't remember what it says though. There's some my dad sends them to me all the time.
Oh yeah, of course.
Every day. And which I love that he does that.
Yeah.
And so I've seen all the really bad ones.
Yeah.
So I do share stuff. Like I try to share stuff that's kind of part of my personality.
Sure.
Like if I find, even if it's not guitar related.
Yeah.
Like if it's just funny, I'm like, okay, I share. Like
I should share more Star Trek stuff because like
totally, dude.
Yeah.
Totally.
And like Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yeah. Like
did you finish Korra?
No.
You didn't finish Korra? No.
I'm actually on I am on Dragon Ball right now.
Oh yeah.
So I'm watching.
Which Dragon Ball are you on?
The original.
I'm watching it. Okay.
I'm watching it.
Like regular Dragon Ball, not Dragon Ball Z?
I've seen Dragon Ball Z like
Goku,
several times.
like Goku small with the tail and everything?
Yeah.
Wow, okay. Cool.
And so I'm watching that right now. I've been watching it I mean, it's long. There's so many episodes.
Yeah.
I'm probably on, I don't know. I'm over 100 episodes in for sure.
Yeah.
And I watched it when I was younger, but I don't remember any of it. I really remembered the Dragon Ball Z stuff.
Yeah,
I rewatched all of it recently up until where Gohan becomes college age.
Yeah.
I stopped there because I was like, you know what? I don't want to go any further. I know it gets into like Majin Buu and stuff, and I've seen that stuff.
Majin Buu I love Majin Buu.
I know it gets into that, but I was like, I've never watched all of Dragon Ball. Yeah. And I was like, I really want...
And you want to go back and watch Dragon Ball. Also, like, they do make a lot of references to Dragon Ball in Dragon Ball Z, like how, like Gohan is very similar to Goku when he's young. Yes. So, like, you're just like, oh, I want to see what that is about.
And there were so many backstories I didn't know.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know any backstories. I didn't know Bulma's, but like, or Krillin, or I almost said it in the way they say it in Japanese because I'm watching the Japanese version.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, and what's it like? They go Kuririn or something.
Yeah,
yeah. So it's a different name. Yeah. Or like I didn't know like what's his name? Who Bulma dates?
Vegeta?
No.
And from Dragon Ball. Yeah.
I can't think of his name.
We're gonna lose our nerd cards.
I know we are gonna lose our. It's I can see he's got the scar.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
I can't think of his name right now because he hasn't been
long hair.
Yep. Yeah, and he hasn't been on the show for like episodes and episodes because he's not in every episode.
Yeah. Sure.
So I'm at a point in the show where it's like I probably haven't seen him in like a month.
Right.
I can't think of his name. Anyway, we're so total nerds.
Yeah.
But I love it, dude. Yeah. I like. I'm loving watching it right now.
Yeah,
it's the best. Sure. And like it's like
Did you ever watch Dragon Ball GT?
No. So that's why I went back to watch Dragon Ball.
Because you want to like make sure you get all the baseline everything.
The last time I watched all of it, I didn't watch past Majin Buu.
Okay.
So I was
the first time I ever watched it, I didn't watch past Majin Buu either. Yeah. I thought Majin Buu was like I thought it kind of got like Majin Buu was the epitome of what a villain was, and then everything past it was just like, okay, whatever, Raleigh or whatever, So I only know a little bit of, I know like because I've seen all the stories online stuff. So I watched Majin Buu, and so much of that is so scattered in my brain because I was younger. Yeah.
The stuff I've seen the most is like was the Frieza saga. I've seen that like several times.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like that's most people's most people our age, their childhood is the Frieza saga.
Yeah. So I remember like every episode. So when I went back and rewatched it, I was like, remember this.
Right.
There were moments in the Cell saga that I didn't remember. I was like, I don't remember this happening. Like I kind of forgot about. I totally forgot about the android. Is it Android with the bigger one, the guy that's huge and like actually kind of a softie?
Android. Wait, there's
17, 18. Is he 13?
Yeah.
Because there's 17 and 18.
16 is the one that Krillin marries, right?
Or the 16, 17.
16, 17. Yeah.
Yep.
And then he's like 15 or something.
Yeah. And so I forgot about him. Anyway, this is totally off topic. We started talking about the voice and then switched to Dragon Ball again. But you should be posting about the things that interest you.
Yeah.
I think that's cool. I think especially someone who is it kind of is I hate, this is the newest thing over the past 10 years. Is like, it kind of is creating a brand for you.
Yeah.
Where it's like,
for sure.
And I think being yourself is, I think, the coolest way to do it. When people, I feel like you can tell. I mean, I feel like I can tell when someone's, I'm like, do you even think that, like with those guitar memes, sometimes I see them, I'm like, do you think this is actually funny? Because it's stupid.
Well, it's funny because my friend actually messaged me after I was on the show. Like he watched the show and he was like,
Jesus.
What's the time?
I don't know if we're gonna have time to record a song.
Yeah, let's. Because
I had so many more questions for the voice.
We can let's go. That's fine. We can keep this going.
Yeah. We can always schedule another time too.
Right, to record songs. Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, my friend messaged me and he was like, "Oh, I saw you on the show and you were exactly yourself. Like you were exactly in the interviews and everything. You're exactly who you are." And people can see that and relate to it. People feel like you're being yourself and you're very personable, right? And I was like, oh, thank you. That's so nice of you to say. I felt weird. Like felt weird. Like, like in these interviews, like you are, these interviews like take like an hour and a half and they condense it to like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
So you're getting like what you're seeing is not the whole not the whole interview that I did, and so. I feel sometimes I'll feel like really uncomfortable and think that I just didn't do very well in this interview. And then they'll cut it and they'll edit it. And I'm like, oh, wow, I'm actually pretty fucking cool.
I thought exactly the same thing as your friend. Because when I 100%, I was like, because actually I was impressed because I was like, he doesn't seem fucking nervous at all.
Yeah.
Because like, that's the thing. Like, I just was like, as you're about to come out, I was like nervous for you. I was like, I would be like, I would shake.
Yeah.
There's no way. Like, I just don't do good on my own like that. And so you did. Were you nervous?
Yes, I was very nervous. We talked about this. I talk about it with like other contestants, and they all say like, for the blinds, most people, not everybody, but a lot of people like blacked out. And just like did their thing. And it was all like, muscle memory at that point because we've been there for a while. And they just blacked out and didn't even remember doing it. And I was one of those people. And I think the reason why was because I was waiting. I'm like 40 years old. I've been a musician for like I would call myself a musician from like 10 years old. So like 30 years I've been a musician, and I'm stepping on this stage, and on a national stage, I'm about to be told whether my 30 years was good enough or not, basically. And like whether these like 4 people who are like being judged by a jury of my peers and being told like whether or not I'm worthy. Right. And so like for me to be like not told no on a national stage would have been like disastrous. Right. It wouldn't have been like the be all end all. I would have just gone back to like doing like, wedding gigs, and that's fine. Like I'm just my career. Like that's what I've been doing. But like going, like being in, like, it was nerve wracking being on this stage just for that reason, because I want to do wedding gigs. I'm happy doing wedding gigs. That's my bread and butter. But like, I also want to move forward in my life from this point where I've been stagnant in doing wedding gigs. I want to like build, like Reed Grimm, like build, or like Jesse Larson, build my following so I can do more like original stuff and like get paid to do that. And so like, this was basically like one of those situations where I was just going to be like knocked to the ground, and I was like scared. And so like, that's what was most nerve wracking about it. And after like Reba had turned her chair for me and I had like gone to the next thing, like I definitely like felt my body loosen, and like
when she turned.
Yeah. And I thank you. I think a lot of people said like, oh, you didn't look nervous at all. You were so funny. I was like so nervous.
Okay, because you didn't see it.
And
because like, you were so witty with like Snoop. You're like,
yeah. See, okay. Now, yes, I did make that. And like the second I said that, I was like, that's going to be on television because there's no way that's too funny for us not to put that on television. But like, yeah, it was a lot. Like, again, it was a longer interview.
Yep.
And it was edited down a little bit. So like I was witty because I did say all those things, but I wasn't as quick as it made it seem like on television. Okay. But you know, it's
how
all
long
part
does that roll usually? Like, cause obviously like after thing is like what it seems like a few minutes, 5 minutes.
Like the post interview.
Yeah.
It's like, honestly, it's you do the song, it's a minute and a half or whatever. And then the post interview is like maybe 4 to 5 minutes.
Okay. So it's still about the way it is on.
Yeah. So like the on TV, it's like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
But like they edit. So it's like twice as much. So like, I mean, there's a lot I wanted to say. And they like, before I went on stage, they were like, make sure you say this, and this, like tell them everything. And I'm like, okay, cool. I wish I'd thought about this. Like I'm about to walk on stage right now and I totally didn't even think of saying any of this. So now I'm just going to and again, I'm moving on muscle memory. Yeah. So like if like they said, like, don't forget to mention all these things, like I opened for Snoop and I didn't even mention that to him. Like, yeah, I opened for Snoop, like, in like Jersey City one year, like with a band I was playing. I didn't even mention that. I didn't even think of mentioning that. I was like so like nervous. I had so much that I was like, in like, to me it was like all coming at me at once, and I was like, okay, yeah. And like my producer, as I was going on, she was like, don't forget to say you're from New York, but you live in Minneapolis. Don't forget to say you open for Snoop. Don't forget to mention this, and this. Like, you like, yeah. And I was like, okay, cool. And I go up and I like said, I'm from Minneapolis. I'm 40. Funny Snoop. And so to me, it looked very rigid and very anxious.
Okay. Yeah, it didn't come off that way at all.
But like because the observer doesn't know all the stuff that I'm supposed to actually be saying.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh yeah, he's doing great. And I'm like, but I was just so nervous. And again, like after like the blinds were done, I moved on to battles, and I was a little less nervous in battles. I have
comments about the battles.
Oh yeah, okay.
Good things.
Okay, yeah, let's hear it. I don't want to hear anything bad.
No. When Reba was like, "Oh, I picked this Teddy Swim song because it's kind of in the middle of both these singers," and I was like, "No, it's not." I was like, "That is 100% Adam. He's gonna crush this."
It's funny
because the other guy, great.
Yeah.
And they even said he's like a rock guy, Aerosmith stuff, and they said Teddy Swims. It's kind of in the middle. I was like, it's like that. It is like the soul thing there.
Yeah.
So I was like, Adam's gonna do really good, and then he crushed. And he did a good job. I'm not saying he didn't.
KG's a good singer. He, like, a lot of people were expecting him to win that. And I think that a lot of contestants were like expecting to win that.
Really?
And yeah, because like they're not hearing me on a regular basis. Like the song that I did, like the Mark Broussard song that I did for Blinds was very like was a different vibe, like similar but a different vibe. And so like people weren't like, KG was out there every night drinking and like singing, and I was like in my room most of the time. Like I was coming out every so often to like sing a couple songs, and I'm going back to my room, right? So like they heard him all the time. They were hearing him all the time. They didn't hear me as much. So they weren't expecting me to like go further. And the second they said that song, I was like, man, they picked this song for me.
Dude,
I felt that way. I was like, they picked the song for me. And it's one of those songs that everybody knows. So like KG wasn't like, oh no. Yeah, he didn't like not know the song. But he was like,
it fits your voice.
It fits my voice a lot more. Yeah. And even Snoop said, he was like, you sounded like Teddy Swims for a couple times. Did. I was like, yeah, I like that's a very like positive thing you could have said about me.
Yeah, and that's the style. When I hear you do it, I'm like
the dirty soul.
Well, that's specific where you're able to kind of show like there is an aggression in the way Teddy sings.
Yeah.
And it's like this soul, but it's got like this, and I feel like
dirt. It's got dirt.
Yeah.
It's called Dirty Soul.
I know. But something that like that song has a little bit extra of that than the song you audition with.
Yeah.
And so I was like, he needs to do that all the time. Like that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, cause it's like, it's so, there's just so much, and there's a lot of moments in that song that allow you to show off.
Absolutely.
Like, and they're kind of built into that song.
Yeah, they are.
Because that's the way he sings, but
it's funny because like, yeah, there is a lot of that dirty soul vibe in that song. And I think that there aren't as many like super popular songs that are like that.
Right.
So like it was great that Teddy had come out with this like in 2003 or late 2002 to early 2003.
Wait, when?
Like 2003, I think. Oh, 2003, 2023. Yeah.
I was like,
oh my God.
I was like,
no, I still think it's 2004 right now. Like, I still think I'm 20 years old.
I was like, do you know something I don't know?
No. So like, it's great that Teddy had come out with this in like 2023 because there wasn't a song that fit my voice like that wasn't like, unless it's like Tennessee Whiskey, you know,
right.
like, and nobody wants to hear Tennessee Whiskey again. Like Tennessee Whiskey is a great song, but like, it's not, we're not doing it on The Voice, you know,
and people, it's been overdone.
It's been overdone. Yeah. Right. So like, so there aren't a lot of those songs that are just like, right, like in the dead center of my wheelhouse that are really popular as well. Like I love like St. Paul and the Broken Bones. I love like, you know, Marcus King, and I love like the Teskey Brothers. You know, those guys are doing the thing, right? Mm-hmm. The Dip, who I was talking about earlier, like I love, but the thing is, they're not. Like The Voice isn't going to let me do those songs on the show.
They're not big enough
because they're not big enough. Right. And this song was humongous. Like it crushed last year and it's still crushing this year. So like,
I'm surprised it's not on the set list for like wedding stuff.
I mean, they added it for like the last two weddings, not last night, but the two weddings that I did, they were like, Can you do this song? I was like, yeah, sure.
I've played it in other bands.
Yeah.
But not in the wedding band.
I'll be adding it to my set list.
Nice.
Yeah, for sure. Like we got like me and KG, I think that was the most viewed battle on TikTok.
It was great.
It was like I think 11, almost 12 million views.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
How about that young girl who sang Olivia Rodrigo?
Oh my God. You see Olivia Rodrigo like posted that to her story?
I don't blame her.
Yeah. Sydney is wildly good. She's really, she's like incredible.
16 or 15? I
think she's like 15. Yeah.
I was like, we watched that and we're like, Shelby, we watched all of them. And Shelby was like, I was like, well, let's skip to Adam. She's like, I want to see his competition. We have to watch all of it. Sure. So there was one episode where she's like, well, they're probably leaving someone really good for the last, because it was the end of the episode.
Most of the time they're leaving somebody good for the last.
And then that came on and I was like, whoa. Like that was like, and then I was like, that was like spot on.
Yeah.
Really good.
She's an incredible singer.
Yeah. That was wild.
Sydney is one of the best singers on the show. Absolutely.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah.
You got any like Snoop stories or Bublé stories? None that you can share.
Okay, so like Snoop, you'll actually, if you watch I guess like tonight is relative. You know,
it's
time is a construct.
It's November 10th.
Yeah, if you watch it, like you'll watch tonight, you'll see that like I have a lot of fun with Snoop this episode. Like maybe not so much fun. He has fun. But we joke around. We had a conversation about like how like how I've evolved as a person. He's like really great dude. I love Snoop. Michael Bublé I say this all the time. Michael Bublé is just happy to be there. He's like he's the nicest guy ever. And he just like, whenever we see him like outside of the actual like filming or whatever, he just wants to talk to you. He's like, let's hang out, let's talk. He's like, he asked me in one of the in one of the things, if we would grab a drink sometime. I was like, yeah, totally, let's do it. And like, he's like, I have my own whiskey, and he's like really great. He's honestly like Michael Bublé. I feel like Michael Bublé for me would be the person I would want to like hang out with.
Yeah.
Snoop, Snoop, like who doesn't want to hang out with Snoop? Like, you know, you want to chill in the studio. I want to work with Snoop. I want to like work with Reba. I want to work with Gwen. I want to like, sure, I'd work with Michael also, but I want to hang with Michael. Yeah. You know, I want to like go out and just chill at a bar, and we're not. And he was like, "Are we allowed to like hang out?" It's like, can we hang out? I was like, let's find out if we can hang out. He was like, he's just like the coolest, nicest.
He's like down to earth.
Yeah, like, so chill. So like, and I think he's like friends with Jacob Collier too. So like he's in that crew of people, and just like very chill. Like, yeah,
that's really cool.
Yeah, he's a great dude. Yeah.
Have you had his whiskey?
I haven't had his whiskey yet. I've been looking.
Widely available? What is it called?
It's not widely available. It's like Fraser and something. It's not widely available. I have to like find the whiskey to drink. So I have to you have to order it online okay. I don't think there are like sellers around Minnesota, but they're like not in the Twin Cities.
Oh, really?
It's like spread out. Like I'm not 100% sure, but I looked it up. I looked it up and I was like, oh, I want to try this whiskey because I wanted to go to like my local. I went to my local, like liquor store, and I was like, hey, do you have like Michael Bublé's whiskey?
Like, I know him.
Yeah, he's a friend of mine. Yeah, I was just wondering. And they were like, no, we don't have Michael Bublé's whiskey.
They're like, what? No. Is it like a scotch or
no? It's like a bourbon.
It's a bourbon. Okay.
Yeah, it's like I believe it's like he has like rye and bourbon.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, I was trying to like taste it. I was gonna do like a whole like get his like album, like his Christmas album, and like get like his whiskey and like drink it by the fireplace or something.
His content.
It would be hilarious, right? For content, right? Exactly.
It's like, drunk.
But no, I couldn't find it anywhere. So I have to order online.
If I'm gonna search for it too.
Yeah. You should check it out. Yeah. It's, I definitely want to drink it. He said it was really good, and I trust him.
Yeah. I mean, and like, bourbon to an extent, I feel like it's somewhat predictable.
Yeah. In a good way, I think.
Yeah, in a good way. In what you're getting into. I mean, there are obviously bad bourbons and good bourbons.
Right.
But like once you like, I just feel like once you know what a bourbon tastes like and like what a rye. I shouldn't even say bourbons are. Once you know what all those things taste like, it's a little easier to understand what you're getting into.
Right.
Like it was always hard for me with Irish and Scotch whiskey because like I didn't know about peatiness. Yeah,
there's a lot of variety for how peaty.
Yeah,
something can be with a Scotch. Yeah, totally.
And so even with Irish, and so I noticed when I got into whiskey, I didn't know anything about that. Yeah. And so I would gamble and just buy I got really into Irish stuff, and every once in a while I'd be like, oh no, this is really peaty, I don't like this. But with bourbon, it's like almost every bourbon's gonna have kind of a sweeter thing going on.
I'm a big fan of bourbon, big fan of rye. I like Scotch whiskey. I like Scotch that's like smoky or peaty or whatever. I feel like whiskey, like Irish whiskey, and don't kill me for this, but Irish whiskey is just like, it's just to hurt yourself. Like it's
to hurt yourself.
You just drink Irish
That's
whiskey.
How I feel about Canadian whiskey.
Oh yeah, like Canadian. Yeah,
I feel that way about Canadian whiskey.
I feel like Irish whiskeys are like mostly to hurt yourself. Like I can't. I did it in my like 20s and 30s. I don't.
Okay, you're thinking about Jameson right now. Is what
I am thinking.
That's all you're thinking about. No, I mean, there's so many more than Jameson. I know
there's more than Jameson. There's Powers. There's like
there's some really good. So like I get Teeling single grain a lot. I have some in the basement.
Yeah, sure.
I'll go pour you. No, just kidding. So Teeling, like there are some really good, like there's some really good ones. Like if you go, there's a place in town. I'll take you sometime.
Sure.
Merlin's Rest. You ever been there?
No,
It's over on Lake Street. It's Lake Street and like 36th.
Okay.
And they have a whiskey Bible. They have an Irish whiskey Bible and they have a Scotch whiskey Bible, and they have like maybe hundreds of each. And so at least dozens. Yeah. And so they have a shit ton. And so it's really fun to go there and get recommendations and try something new. And I've had some really good Irish whiskeys. Yeah, no, Jameson on its own is just not a very good by itself. It's fine. But in Ireland, it tastes different though.
Yeah, I heard that. I heard that.
In Ireland, the Jameson is a smoother, there's a different tinge to it. It tastes like a different whiskey to me. And I really enjoy that.
Yeah. But I was going to say the other thing that I love whiskey wise in the whiskey realm is, we've talked about this before. I think Japanese whiskeys. I love Japanese whiskeys.
And I haven't gotten huge into Japanese whiskey, but I've had them.
Yeah.
I'm like the older I get, the more stuck in my ways I'm getting. Yeah. So when I
would say before you get too stuck, get into some Japanese whiskey.
Yeah.
Get into Yamazaki 18 if you can afford it. Like it's like at this point it's like $1,200 a bottle, but like
wow.
But it's so good. It's so.
I don't think I'm gonna buy that.
I'll tell you right now, it's worth it.
Is it?
I don't say this about a lot of stuff, but Yamazaki 18 is worth $1,200.
Okay, you can buy that for me for my birthday once you have the big bucks.
Yeah, once
the voice big bucks.
Once I'm voice famous, I'll buy you a Yamazaki. Well, here's what I'll do. I'll buy a Yamazaki 18 and let you
have some. There we go.
Yeah,
it'll be $100 pour.
Yeah, right. For real. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I don't mean I'm getting stuck. I mean, what happens is like I'll be like, oh, I could try a new one, but like I'm out of this. Yeah. I'm just gonna have this.
Yeah.
I buy the same one over and over again. Yeah. But I do like to explore. Like I really do like to try new stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Which I think is a lot of fun. Anyway, we went all over the place today.
Yeah, we did.
A little Dragon Ball Z.
Right.
A little bourbon.
Totally. Yeah.
What else did we talk about? The voice for like 5 minutes. There's gonna be dude. They're gonna be people.
People are gonna be like, "Oh, I came on here for the voice and guitar information," and it's just like guitar holding your thing down here. How is Snoop? And then Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, I mean, this is what happens typically when I have friends on.
Yeah,
it's different when it's someone I don't know that well.
Yeah,
it's easier to stay on task. But
you should have points to get through,
But I like this format.
Yeah. I get it. But have a little note where you
I do.
What you did. Oh, you do.
Yeah, I do. But it's on my computer. And when I do these online, you're the first person where I've sat with.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
So when I do them online, I have a Word doc with my points, and so I do go through those. But with this one, we're friends.
I do want to talk about my personal original music though.
Yes.
Cause I can't leave this without talking about it. We've gone in, you and I've gone in with a few other people, Pete James Johnson and, Theo and Ryan Butler, Scott and Stan, we went in the studio and recorded some music. Mm-hmm. And I did a whole little crowdfunding campaign for it. So I raised a little bit of money, very little. And so I am in the process of Pete James Johnson is actually doing it. I'm in the process of mixing and mastering it. So the plan is to release singles. So December is going to be the first single, January, February, and then hopefully by then be able to press the thing to vinyl and release that as an album.
How many tunes is it again?
It's 5 tunes total. Yeah. And then, the singles will be released. 3 of the singles will be released. I'm sure you can guess which ones are going to be the singles that are being released, but we're not going to talk about it yet. But, also after the album is released, I'm going to go on a tour with Theo. And then when I come back, I'm going to record a new project as well. And that's going to be a whole big thing. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I have a project I'm working on, which is going to be like a music video for a new song I'm really excited about. That's one part. Simultaneously, my band in New York has a lot of stuff in the can. So we're going to be releasing that
Nice.
as singles as we go. And then maybe at some point pressing that to vinyl as well for people to have.
Nice.
But so there's a lot of music coming from me in this coming year. And that not just like, not to mention the whole, being on The Voice thing, which is, also going to like lead to like more shows. I'm going to be doing a lot more local shows like in the cities around the Twin Cities, like Minnesota and like, the Dakotas and Iowa and like,
you're getting the Minnesota.
Milwaukee. I'll do like a bigger range of how far I'll travel. But also, I've got the gig on the 14th. We're doing 14th, December 19th at the Green Room. December 19th at the Green Room is my birthday show. It's going to be my birthday.
Oh, nice.
So my birthday is not the 19th. My birthday is a different day. I'm not going to tell you, but my birthday is around then. And so the 19th is when the show is going to happen. And we're going to do a bunch of songs. Some of the voice contestants might be coming up to join. Who's to say? I'm not going to say. Maybe.
Because there's one's from town.
4 of us
from town.
Yeah,
I thought there was only 2.
No, there's 4. There's me,
really,
Cameron Wright, who also sings with Jesse Larson, and they're like they go by Cameron Ladiva. They're one of the most amazing singers I've ever seen in my life.
And these are 4 people. They're still in it right now.
Dahlia Jones didn't get a chair turn.
Okay.
So she didn't make it past the blinds. And then Frankie Torres, who's still in it right now as well.
Yeah. Yep. Remember that.
So there's 4 of us total.
Wow.
Yeah.
So there are 3 people currently on the show that are from Minneapolis. And how many people total are on the show?
On the show total, like that are on the show right now?
Yeah. Singers.
That made it past battles. So initially it was like 100 and something.
Is it? It's 100 and something from the start?
From the start. It's 120, I think.
Wow.
And it goes
I didn't realize
down.
it was that much.
And it goes down to 56.
Is it 100 from the start? You mean like before the chairs are turned?
Before the chairs are turned.
Oh, I thought you meant after. I was like, geez.
No. 56 is where it goes to when the chairs turn.
Cool. Okay.
And then it goes to 36 after the battles. So there's 36 right now.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Then that makes a little. I thought there was like 12.
Yeah.
And I was
No,
like,
no,
that's
no.
a lot. We have a big group from here.
No, the next I think the next I think it cuts down to 20.
Okay.
After this 36.
Okay.
I think. I'm not sure off the.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
You said Minnesota earlier.
Minnesota.
It's creeping in.
It is.
You're getting it.
I mean, like, I need to just spend more time with my friends out in New York is basically what I need to do. Like, get on calls and Zooms and keep my New York accent.
You never really had one. Right?
I never really had any accent. People are like, where's that accent from? I'm like,
really?
It's not. No, like,
interesting.
Because I say this on the show, and I've said this like a bunch on interviews and stuff. When I moved to the States from England, I watched Reba's show.
Yeah.
And I watched and I used that to like acclimate to Houston, Texas. And then when I moved from Houston to New York, I had this sort of like Texan English thing, right? And then like the New York creeped in and people were like, oh, you sound real like New York in some words. I'm like, no, that's actually the English. And it's kind of like the Texas, but it's kind of like New York. And then I moved here and people were like, what even is that?
I never noticed anything.
Yeah, there's not an outstanding specific, like, unless I say the word band and people are like, oh, you're like, that's your
band?
English. Band, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even know what you said at first.
Band, yeah.
I'm joking.
Yeah, any of that, and it like hand or, you know, and like there are certain words that I say that are not English, that are not like American words. Like I'll say like torch when I mean like, cause like I like
a torch,
like a flashlight.
Oh,
or like plaster. Like I remember the first time I cut myself in this country, I was like, oh my God, can I get a plaster? Oh my God. They're like, I'm like, what are you talking about? It's like, I need a plaster. I'm bleeding. It's like a what?
Plaster. That's like a Band-Aid?
Yeah. Because like a Band-Aid is a brand.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
A plaster is what the actual like thing is.
It's like Kleenex.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah. So I'm weird.
You got that right. Just kidding.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to talk about?
We talked about, like if you're watching, and I assume that you are because you're watching. So, follow on the socials, Adam Bohanan Music, at Adam Bohanan Music for most of the socials, and AdamBohananmusic.com. You can follow me on there and see any of my shows and whatnot.
There we go. Cool,
and,
man.
And if it's in the Twin Cities, Mike will probably be playing on that too.
That's true. I will be playing.
Yeah.
Yep. Cool, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming over.
Yeah, it's great.
Being on.
It's fun. A lot of fun.
If you'd like to join my Patreon to get your questions answered by the guests, then you can go to patreon.com/Mike Salo. There are several tiers there that you can take part in, and lots of different perks like pre-recorded guitar lessons or even one-on-one guitar lessons with me. There are live masterclasses every week for certain tiers. And again, you can go to patreon.com/Mike Salo to check that out.